الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله صلى الله عليه وعلى آله وأصحابه ومن تبعهم بإحسان إلى يوم الدين أما بعد. So as we continue discussing the book Usul, As-Sunnah by Imam Ahmad ibn Hanbal rahimahullah ta'ala, and this particular thesis that he wrote is a small book that covers certain points relating to al-i'tiqad. So Imam Ahmad rahimahullah wishes to clarify certain points that distinguish Ahl-Sunnah wal Jama'ah regarding matters of belief. So this book has somewhat gained a lot of attention from the ulama of contemporary time and Tullabul Ilm, that many have explained this particular book. So we'll be continuing from the points that we had left off regarding matter that he discussed, that the next point that he discussed, wal Quran Kalamullah. So first he discussed matters relating to Al-Qadr. Then after he clarified certain matters regarding Ahl-Sunnah wal Jama'ah, regarding acceptance of hadith and not to refute or reject of hadith. Then and also again he repeat the discussion regarding not getting into unnecessary discussion and arguments and quarrels and debates on matters that relate to Aqidah, especially those matters that are clear. So he'll be now discussing another of those points that relates to the i'tiqad of Ahl-Sunnah wal Jama'ah. So we'll read what is mentioned and comment on this point. تفضل.
Alhamdulillah wa salatu wa salam ala Rasulillah. Point 15, and the Quran is the word of Allah. It is not created, and he should not be too weak to declare that it is not created, and the word of Allah is not something distinct and separate from him, and that not a single thing from it is created. And beware of argumentation with the one who innovates in this matter and says that his recitation of the Quran is created, and other such claims. And whoever hesitates in this matter and says, I do not know whether it is created or not created, it is but the word of Allah, then he is a person of innovation, and he is just like the one who says it is created. It is only the word of Allah, and it is not created.
So this point that is mentioned by Imam Ahmad rahimahullah, where he mentioned wal Quran kalamullah wa laysa bimakhluq wa la yud'af an yuqal laysa bimakhluq قال فإن كلام الله ليس بباء من وليس منه شيء مخلوق وإياك والمناظرة من أحدث فيه ومن قال بلف وغيره ومن وقف فيه فقال لا أدري مخلوق أو ليس بمخلوق إنما هو كلام الله وهذا صاحب البدع مثل من قال هو مخلوق وإنما هو كلام الله ليس بمخلوق. So this is what is mentioned, or what was this is what he mentioned regarding of those points that are mentioned within this particular thesis regarding the i'tiqad of Ahl-Sunnah wal Jama'ah in general. So of this point, that the second point they discussed regarding Quran Kalamullah. And this is of those matters that especially in the time of Ahmad ibn Hanbal, that Imam Ahmad rahimahullah and others of the ulama, that they were tested regarding this matter. So referred to at the time of the Mihna, where many of the ulama or the ulama of that time and the Qudat of that time, that they were tested by way of the state regarding their position, their stance regarding this matter, regarding Quran created or not created. So Ahmad rahimahullah wished to clarify the correct position of Ahl-Sunnah wal Jama'ah on this particular discussion. And Ahmad rahimahullah, that's not the only one to have covered this point, that you find that others of the ulama have also discussed this point and clarify the position of Ahl-Sunnah regarding that Quran with Ahl-Sunnah wal Athar, that the Quran Kalamullah minhu bada wa ilayhi ya'ud, that the Quran is Kalamullah, the speech of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala it came, and from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala it shall return. So as we mentioned, that you find of the ulama of the past, others who have also mentioned and highlighted this in the Aqidah, and amongst them the famous Aqidah of Imam At-Tahawi rahimahullah, where he mentioned, Abu Ja'far At-Tahawi rahimahullah mentioned, وَإِنَّ الْقُرْآنَ كَلَامُ اللَّهِ مِنْهُ بَدَى بِلَا كَيْفِيَّةٍ قَوْلًا. Then he mentioned of those points that he discussed regarding وَإِنَّ الْقُرْآنَ كَلَامُ اللَّهِ, that the Quran is the speech of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So that shows regarding, then he mentioned minhu bada, fala bila kayfiyya, that from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala it came, and then he stated bila kayfiyya, and also one should not enter into asking how regarding this matter. So it shows that the ulama of the past, other than Ahmad ibn Hanbal rahimahullah and many others, who included this matter in the books in Aqidah, clarifying the correct position of As-Sunnah on this topic. So as mentioned by Ahmad rahimahullah, and what have been clarified, that the author rahimahullah wished to clarify the position of As-Sunnah, the correct Aqidah and the correct stance that every Muslim should have regarding the Quran, as mentioned by evidence in the Quran, the Sunnah, and also the way of the Salaf as-Salih and the belief of the Salaf as-Salih. So of those points that he discusses, first, Quran, Kalamullah. So it mentioned regarding the Quran, Kalamullah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So it shows regard that where as they discuss concerning that Quran Kalamullah, as mentioned by Shaykh At-Tamimi rahimahullah, hafidullah, he mentioned qawl musannif rahimahullah wal Quran Kalamullah, that this meaning and yu'min bi anna al-Quran Kalamullah azza wa jal minhu bada wa ilayhi yaud, that what is meant, or what is meant by this is the Quran is the speech of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and this is the belief that a Muslim should hold and have. From Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala it came, wa ilayhi yaud, and to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala it shall return, wa anna hadha kalamullah, and that indeed that this is the speech of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, biharf, by way of letters, wa sawt, and also by way of sound, wa, and he mentioned masmu'in, and it is heard. So the speech of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the Quran, it is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala speech that it consists of words, sawt, and also is heard by the listener. Then I mentioned and Allah and also that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that Jibreel heard from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala the Quran, and then Jibreel alayhi salam, then he presented this to the Prophet alayhi salam, and this is what we have regarding the Quran, being what is mentioned in the Quran that we have today, which is from Surah Al-Fatiha, that it starts with Surah Al-Fatiha and end with Surah An-Nas. So this is what in between this is the Quran. So this is the Quran, and this Quran, it is the speech of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, وَلَيْسَ بِمَخْلُوقٍ, and not something which is created. Then he mentioned, so that's concerning the position of Ahl-Sunnah wal Jama'ah based upon evidence. So as regarding concerning this matter, that you'll find that some of those who have entered into this matter and they reject, deny Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that the Quran is described as Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's speech. So of those who have denied and reject that the Quran is the speech of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, rather it is something which is created according to them, and that qawl is batil, that view is something which is false. So regarding concerning that Ahl-Sunnah, that it is sufficient for the person to say inna al-Qur'ana kalamullah, then also to add laysa bimakhluq, so as to emphasize and to give clarity, and also for the person to distinguish himself from those who say opposite to this. So when it mentioned inna al-Quran kalamullah makhluq, inna Quran kalamullah, that laysa bimakhluq, and not something created, then this is concerning the Salaf clarifying regarding laysa bimakhluq, that to clarify the Quran is the speech of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And this goes back, as they mentioned, contrary to the position taken by some, where some, they have taken a position that as for the Quran, they mention the Quran hikaya and kalamullah, that the Quran, according to them, it is just like a report, an account of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's speech. That's according to some, which is false. Others have tried to explain away regarding Quran being the speech of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala by stating ibaratun an kalamullah, that the Quran is just a ibara, like the meaning and interpretation of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's speech, which is all falsehood. So these are the claims that are made by those who wish to deny that the Quran is the speech of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So they try to explain the Quran in this way. They try to explain away what is meant by the speech of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, which is the Quran, which is of it, the Quran, in this manner. Then you find that there's many texts that are used regarding texts that substantiate the view of Ahl-Sunnah wal Jama'ah. So to substantiate a view as evidence regarding the position taken by Ahl-Sunnah wal Jama'ah, that you find the evidence, it falls in line with this. And Ahl-Sunnah, they go according to the evidence. So you might find many places in the Quran and also in the Sunnah regarding concerning what is mentioned regarding the speech of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, where he mentioned that as for the text from the Quran, coincide, clarify this matter as mentioned by subhanahu wa ta'ala in Surah At-Tawbah, where Allah subhanahu mentioned, in ahadun min al-mushrikeen, then if any min al-mushrikeen, if any from amongst the mushrikeen istajarak, that they seek your protection, فَأَجِرْهُ, then you should give him this assistance, hatta yasma kalam Allah, until he hears the speech of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So it mentioned hatta, so the shahid, that he mentioned that if any from amongst the mushrik, that they were to seek your aid, your security, then you can grant this to them. That he mentioned hatta yasma kalam Allah, until he hears the speech of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So it shows regarding that mention kalam Allah. That, and this is in reference to the Quran, and this is in reference to that for the person to hear the speech of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in reference to listening and hearing the Quran and understanding the Quran. So as what they mentioned here regarding concerning the ulama, I've mentioned that the Quran, that I've some that also add regarding minhu bada, that the Quran, that it starts from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So the Quran is something Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala he spoke with, haqiqatan, in reality, lafdan, the Quran, the wording and the meaning is from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So the Quran, the meaning and the wordings are from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So both meaning and the wordings that's within the Quran, that is from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And we accept and believe in this. And this matter, it goes back to regarding the Quran being the speech of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It goes back to an important matter regarding what is discussed as ithbat, sifat, kalamullah. So this goes back to an important matter regarding one affirming to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala speech, kalam. We'll find of those who deny this. So the Quran is a part of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's speech, and the Quran and the speech of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is something confirmed by text that mentioned hatta yasma kalam Allah, until he hear the speech of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, which is in Surah At-Tawbah verse 6. And also you have other texts regarding this matter, by way of again proof regarding concerning that the Quran is kalam Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So again, to clarify, the Quran is not the speech of any human, not the speech of the Prophet alayhi salam, nor that of Jibreel alayhi salam, but rather the Quran is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's speech and not the speech of anyone. So this matter that you'll find that those who oppose As-Sunnah on this matter, that goes in opposition to As-Sunnah and have deviated in this matter, is of the group we mentioned, the Jahmiyyah, who are the ones who say the Quran makhluk. They are the ones who state the Quran, it is created. So this matter during that time for a certain period of the Islamic state, then it became a matter that was a lot of discussion was around this matter. So you find the Jahmiyyah and also the Mu'tazila, that they are the ones who reject Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's sifat. So they are the ones who are the rejectors of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's sifat. And amongst those sifat that they reject is kalam. So by this, they also reject Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's speech being the Quran. So that's the method of the Jahmiyyah and the Mu'tazila. And what they claim that as the ulama of life, that this false claim that they have laid regarding concerning denying that the speech, the Quran is kalamullah, that is considered to be something which is a great wrong and speech that they have claimed against Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and also against the deen of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So by this, they fall into two severe error. They fall into two dire error of those error regarding concerning that qawl Allah bila ilm. So by making this claim that the Quran is created, then they are stating a claim against Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala which is false and speaking without ilm. So Allah subhanahu mentioned in the book by saying in Surah Al-A'raf verse 33, they mention قُلْ إِنَّمَا حَرَّمَ رَبِّي الْفَوَاحِشَ مَا ظَهْرَ مِنْهَا وَمَا بَطَنَ وَالْإِثْمِ وَالْبَغْيِ بِغَيْرِ الْحَقِّ وَأَن تُشْرِكُوا بِاللَّهِ مَا لَمْ يُنَزِّلْ بِهِ سُلْطَانًا وَأَن تَقُولُوا عَلَى اللَّهِ مَا لَا تَعْلَمُونَ. So the shahid from this mentioned that of those things that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala have made haram, that of those things that it ends with regarding وَأَن تَقُولُوا عَلَى اللَّهِ مَا لَا تَعْلَمُونَ, and to speak about Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and attribute to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala things that you have no knowledge of. So to attribute, so those who make this claim, then they are attributing to Allah and to the deen of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala something which they have no knowledge and have no evidence no evidence for. So the one who make this claim, they fall into speaking without ilm, bal, going contrary to what is mentioned in the Quran and the Sunnah. Also, of the second of the error, severe error that they fell into is also the second regarding al-kadhib al-Allah. The second being kadhib al-Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So the second thing regarding that they lie upon Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So this also of those errors that they fell into. As mentioned by subhanahu wa ta'ala, وَالْيَوْمَ الْقِيَامَةِ تَرَى الَّذِينَ كَذَبُوا عَلَى اللَّهِ وُجُوهَهُمْ مُسْوَدَّةٌ. So it mentioned regarding concerning that, وَالْيَوْمَ الْقِيَامَةِ concerning the day of Qiyamah, تَرَى الَّذِينَ كَذَبُوا. You will see concerning those who have lied upon Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, على Allah, who have lied upon Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, وُجُوهَهُمْ, that their face would be مُسْوَدَّةٌ. Their face would be darkened. So it shows regarding concerning that of those Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala have threatened those who say things about Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that is incorrect, that is false, that's a lie. Then this is the severe warning that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala have mentioned against them. So the Jahmiyyah and the Mu'tazila and those who follow their path, then they fall into those two things of one, lying about Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and second, that they fall into matter regarding speaking without ilm. So as for As-Sunnah wal Jama'ah, wa a'immatul As-Sunnah wal Jama'ah, that on this topic, that they believe Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala speaks, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is described with speech, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala He speaks إِذَا شَاءَ, when He wishes, مَتَى شَاءَ, when He wills, كَيْفَ شَاءَ, and how He wills, لِمَنْ شَاءَ, and to whom He wills. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, regarding Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's speech, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is described as being a one who speaks إِذَا شَاءَ, when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wills, مَتَى شَاءَ, when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wishes, كَيْفَ شَاءَ, how Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wishes, and also لِمَنْ شَاءَ, and to one who Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wishes. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, so this concerns a matter relating to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala regarding His speech. So a speech, kalam Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, min sifat of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, sifat al-dhatiyya fi'liyya. So also regarding the ulama of place regarding the speech of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, it falls within the category of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sifat dhatiyya, something that goes back to the essence of the dhat of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, what we refer to in English as essence of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and second to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that is also fi'liyya, of the thing that relates to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, af'al is actions. Of those regarding Ahlul Kalam, regarding concerning that their position regarding Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's speech, that they say that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala kalam nafsi, they claim that this is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that speaking to oneself, so like speaking to oneself. Then that's concerning that also that claim is also false. Also this claim is false. And so we find that by way of text, we mention وَلَمَّا جَاءَ مُوسَى, وَلَمَّا جَاءَ مُوسَى, when Musa in Surah Al-A'raf, well, that's what I mentioned, وَلَمَّا جَاءَ مُوسَى, when Musa arrived لِمِيقَاتِنَا, to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala position, وَكَلَّمَهُ رَبُّهُ, that his Lord spoke to him. So regarding concern that the one who spoke is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He spoke to Musa alayhi salam. So again, this of the evidence regarding the speech of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So there's many evidence. Those are just some of the evidence that relates to that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala speaks. And also from the hadith of the Prophet alayhi salam regarding this matter that discussed regarding Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's speech. Then the ulama mentioned regarding amongst these hadith on the Prophet alayhi salam that is stated about author mentioned that بينما أهل الجنة في نعيم إذ سطع لهم نور. That بينما أهل الجنة في النعيم, that as أهل الجنة, as they are in Naim, سطع لهم نور, that a shining light will appear to them. رفعوا أبصارهم, and they will raise their eyes. فإذا الرب, and it will be their Lord Azza wa Jal قد أشرف عليهم من فوقهم, where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will grace them and honor them from being above. Then I mentioned فقال, well, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will say As-salamu alaykum ya ahli jannah. Then the author here, the Shaykh, he mentioned regarding concerning that, so this, according to what he mentioned here, that that of the evidence regarding this matter, regarding Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, we mentioned As-salamu alaykum ya ahli jannah. As in the hadith of Jabir regarding Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's speech to the people of Jannah. As he mentioned, authentic. So then he mentioned regarding, and also Imam Bukhari rahimahullah, that Imam Bukhari rahimahullah in his Sahih, that he made a chapter heading by stating Bab Kalamullah Tabarak Ta'ala Ma Ahli Jannah. That he mentioned regarding that Imam Bukhari rahimahullah, that of the chapter heading of his book, that he mentioned the chapter heading Bab Kalam Ar-Rabb, the speech of the Lord, Ma Ahli Jannah, with the people of Al-Jannah. This matter regarding the speech, the Quran, that of those matters you'll find that it's of those masail, or of those matters that relates to Aqidah, but you find that of the matters relating to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala asma wa sifat, that it gained a lot of attention, or a lot of those who try to reject of this. So you find of those of regarding Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sifat, asma wa sifat, that the people of Ahli Ahwa, Ahli Bidah, that they try to reject and put that they deny, and of those two that stands out more so regarding of the ones of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala asma wa sifat, that they deny, that they have denied regarding of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sifat al-ulu wa masatul kalam. So of those matters relating to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala asma wa sifat, min bab, from the bab of asma wa sifat, of those ones where those people try to put a lot of effort in trying to deny and reject, is two matters that stand out more. First, the matter relating to ulu of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala being above is creation. The second matter, that so Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala being above is creation. And the second matter, they try to put some doubt on that matter and deny of this matter and reject of this matter, masalat al-kalam, the matter relating to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala regarding the sifat of the matter regarding kalam of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala speech. So matter regarding Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala speech, they put a lot of, they try to put a lot of effort regarding rejecting and denying of these two particular matters relating to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. They mentioned concerning that so the emphasis by way of Ahl al-Batil is placed on these matter. The first, which is ulu Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala being above his creation, which they try with this try to kind of somewhat reject regarding Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that that it goes back to and go back to the essence regarding rejecting that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala existence, where they see that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is not above, not within, not in or out, so it kind of somewhat rejecting Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala existence. So that's concerning that matter. So rejecting ulu of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala being above his creation is in general that they're trying to reject Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala existence. And the second regarding the matter regarding kalam, that also regarding that is to do away with al-wahi, to do away with revelation from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So to reject, so regarding Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala speech, then is to do away with revelation from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So that leave mankind that we are left to based our things based upon our own opinions. So everything is decided based upon people's personal opinion. So that's of those who try to reject of these two sifat regarding ulu, and the second being kalam, that the final what they're trying to achieve and their aims and goal in targeting these two masail regarding rejecting Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's existence, and second rejecting al-wahi, which is kalam Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So regarding concern that the author that he has mentioned that Ahmed Rahim that he discussed regarding of these masail, or of this masail that he discussed, then clarify regarding Quran kalamullah wa laysa bi makhluq. So laysa wa laysa bi makhluq, that is to emphasize and to reject regarding those who took the position that the Quran is created. Then I mentioned wala yud'af an yaqul laysa bi makhluq, and also a person should not find weakness. So the person should not overcome that weakness within oneself, and a person to stand firm regarding saying the truth and stand more for the haqq, which is the position of As-Sunnah wal Athar, based upon the text, which is confirmed the Quran, Kalamullah. Then I mentioned by not taking the position that Quran that laysa bi makhluq. Then you find that some somewhat either trying to encourage others to take the right position on this matter and not to give in with a popular view, or the view that seems to be that people is going along with because it suits different people for their own purposes. So not just to go along with the crowd or what is being put out there, but to go along with that which is the correct thing, and for a person to stand firm and not try to just be the one who fall in line. So they mention, so to speak, the truth, and not to fall in line with what seems to be the safe way, or what seems to be safe, or fear being challenged. Then I mentioned وَقَالْ وَإِنَّ كَلَامُ اللَّهِ لَيْسَ بِبَائٍ مِّنْ, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala kalam is not separate from him. So it's also to reinforce that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala kalam, his speech, is not something which is separate, distinctive from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, but it's of the sifat of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's Quran. Min sifat, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's speech is from his sifat of ithbat al-kalam. So you mentioned وَإِنَّ كَلَامُ اللَّهِ, and kalam Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is not rejected, is not restricted only, is not only the Quran, but the Quran is a part of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's speech. So previous revelation of wahi min kalam Allah. So at-Torah wal Injil, these are also from kalam Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So the kalam Allah, the Quran is a part of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's speech. وَلَيْسَ مِنْهُ شَيْء مَخْلُوق. And from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's speech, kalam of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, none of this is described as being something or to be described as being created, as it's of the sifat of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and not a part of his creation. وَإِيَّاكَ وَالْمَنَاظَرَ مَنْ أَحْدَثْ فِيهِ. And also that Ahmad rahimahullah giving some advice not to go into arguments and debate regarding this matter, regarding those people who have innovated this false claim. So those who have innovated this false claim regarding Quran, makhluk, not to get into a debate with them, especially concerning the common Muslim. But for a person to give clarity by way of manadhara, by way of giving clarity based upon evidence and clarifying the truth and rebutting falsehood, then a person of ilm, then they can do as such. The person of ilm can do so, especially regarding clarifying, not necessarily the person of debate with others, but if he has his own platform or medium of communicating this message, then one should do so by clarifying to those who may be affected by this. Then it mentions that it shows regarding وَإِيَّاكُ الْمَنَاظَرَ, that is something which is not encouraged, that the Muslim or person of ilm or talib al-ilm to entertain, getting into these type of debate of going back and forth. And we have discussed this matter previously. وَمَنْ قَالْ بِاللَّفْ وَغَيْرُ. So the one who say that Allah for the main concern, Allah وَغَيْرُ, that intended by it concerning those who say lafzi bil Quran, that I mentioned concerning lafzi bil Quran makhluk, lafzi bil Quran makhluk. So of those who kind of somewhat take that position, then it's something that Ahmed rahimahullah mentioned that one should not say of this. So of those who make this claim regarding lafzi makhluk or laysa b'makhluk, then one to avoid that statement, to avoid of those type of saying, those statements, that is ihtimalat. So as to what the person actually intend by saying lafzi bil Quran makhluk, what does he mean by this? Or laysa b'makhluk, what does he mean by so my speech of the Quran, it is created or not created? That it could be understood different ways. So those type of speech that are ambiguous, not clear, then one should avoid them. So one, they mention al-lafzi, that they mention lafzi bil Quran makhluk, then a person should avoid those statements as the ulama mentioned, they could refer to as al-lafziyya. Those people of al-lafziyya alladhina yaquluna lafzi bil Quran makhluk, that a person mean, what does he mean? The movement of his mouth, or is mean what is being recited, which is the Quran. What does the person intend or mean by this? So Ahmed rahimahullah and the ulama of As-Sunnah wal Hadith caution against this and warn against this. Not saying ambiguous statement, especially regarding important matters. وَمَنْ وَقَفَ فِيهِ فَقَالَ, as for those people that he mentioned that says لَا أَدْرِي مَخْلُوقٌ أو لَيْسَ بِمَخْلُوق. As for those people that refer to those people, مَنْ وَقَفَ فِيهِ al-waqifa. So al-waqifa are those who took the stance that they not want to be clear. That said, La adri makhluk, I'm not have a position, I'm not saying this, nor am I saying that. Ahmed rahimahullah also referred to them as shakkaka. Also referred to them as shakkaka. Those people that seem to be doubtful. So they don't have a clear stance, a clear position. When there's clear evidence, then that becomes problematic. So regarding if a matter is discussed in matter of i'tiqad, or a matter regarding the deen, where Islam, by the Quran, the Sunnah, have given a clear position, then a person should not be wavering as to what position to take. Because the evidence support that particular position. And there's no evidence that support the other position. Then the person should not waver on this matter. He has to be clear and take the position of the evidence of the Quran, the Sunnah, and the kalam of the Salaf. So on this matter regarding al-waqifa, those kind of somewhat, they try to take a neutral position, when in this matter in reality the neutral position is taking the haqq. That's the only position. So I mentioned after those of the waqifa or shakkaka, as Ahmed rahimahullah referred to them as, also I mentioned la adri, I don't know. He said not making his position clear. La adri makhluqun aw laysa makhluq. So he's not taking this side or that side. He's not. Then I mentioned that as for that also is unacceptable. So when the truth is made clear, it's not for a person only to align with the truth. Based upon dalil, based upon clear evidence. Then I mentioned, so you might find in that in that matter, you find as Ibn Abi Duad, of those of position of authority during that time, that he was of those concerned of the Mu'tazila who took this position regarding concerning Quran being makhluk, and he was the chief judge. So Ibn Abi Duad was the chief judge during that time, and he was the one that he would go send out others to question the ulama and the qudat regarding what's your position regarding the Quran, created or not created. So you find a person of rank, status, was the chief judge, but then because of his own personal bias, where he take the position that the Quran is created, that he would send out others to question and to ask from the judges who were within, is under him, and also the ulama of that time, what's your position? If you align with his position, then you remain in your position. If you align with him, you remain in your position of, you continue to be as a judge. But if you did not align with his position, then you will be removed and also be imprisoned and also flogged and punished. So Ahmed rahimahullah and others of the ulama, that they were imprisoned, flogged, beaten because of holding up to the truth, holding up by stating the Quran, kalamullah, walaysa bimakhluq, and not created. So it mentioned here, so of those others who were the waqifa, didn't want to be somewhat clear, decisive on the matter, so they kind of somewhat wavered. They wavered. So Ahmed rahimahullah, that he called those people al-waqifa or shakkaka. Those who seems to be in doubt. Those who not giving clear statement, but ambiguous, unclear statement. Then I mentioned, إِنَّمَا هُوَ كَلَامُ اللَّهِ. So again to clarify, إِنَّمَا هُوَ كَلَامُ يعني al-Quran. So huwa, damir, go back to the Quran. Kalamullah is the speech of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So that's the position of Ahl-Sunnah regarding the Quran. That's the position of Ahl-Sunnah regarding the Quran being Kalamullah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Then he mentions of those matters. So he mentioned regarding some of the position taken by others. So regarding concerning of those regarding this matter, regarding the Quran, who contradicts the evidence of the Quran, the Sunnah, and the position of the ulama, that he mentioned here regarding concerning that of those who took the position regarding concerning that one of those advice not to argue with people who are involved in that bid'ah, in that strange view that contradict the text. Also, he was against those who, as we mentioned, as he stated concerning al-lafzi, start saying ambiguous, unclear statements. Then also you have those who are waqifa, who are somewhat who are in-betweeners, in a state of not saying this nor that, not aligning to this side nor to that side. Then also, so he objected to that approach. Then he also emphasized regarding the position, the correct position, وَإِنَّمَا هُوَ كَلَامُ اللَّهِ, that the Quran, indeed, without any doubt, is the speech of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Then also, and that is the overall view of the Sahaba regarding concerning Quran, Kalam Allah. That's the overall view of the Sahaba ta'ala anhum, as mentioned by Amr ibn Dinar. So as mentioned by Amr ibn Dinar ta'ala anhu, قال أدركت أكثر من 70 من أصحاب نبي عليه السلام, that I've met over 70 of the companions of the Prophet عليه السلام, that they mention كلهم يقولون, that all of them saying Quran كلام الله غير مخلوق, that the Quran is the speech of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, not created, منه بدأ وإليه يعود, and from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala it came and to him it returned. So it shows that that was the madhab of the ulama regarding this matter. Then Ahmed rahimahullah, then he mentioned regarding concerning this matter, إنما هو, as for the mention, فهذا صاحب البدع. So as for those views regarding concerning a person who is shakaka, in between, then also, or the person in doubt, saying this, not saying this, nor that, he mentioned that, هذا صاحب البدع. Such a person is considered to be a person of innovation, a person of bid'ah, meaning al-waqifa. So those ones who are the waqifa, not saying Quran created, and not saying the Quran is not created, the waqifa, shakaka, that Ahmed rahimahullah all them to be the people of Ahlul Bidah. So he mentioned that the people of that position, not clear, then they are the ones who are said to be from Ahlul Bidah, from the people who have deviated from the haqq. So Ahlul Bidah, the people of deviation. Then I mentioned مثل من قال, that the example of those who say huwa makhluk, they fall into line with those people say makhluk, because of not making a clear stance. إنما هو كلام الله ليس بمخلوق. And then he end this discussion, this point where I mentioned, again clarifying, re-emphasizing the correct position mentioned, إنما هو كلام الله ليس بمخلوق, and it is not created. It is not created. So that's concerning this matter regarding this topic that has mentioned that Ahmed rahimahullah, of those of the ulama. So during that time, Ahmed ibn Hanbal, that denial of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sifat start to emerge of those, as we mentioned before, who took of those who align, that of those people who contradict As-Sunnah, and was somewhat upholding this view and trying to establish this view of them, the Jahmiyyah. So the Jahmiyyah, of those who took this view of the Jahmiyyah, and also second of those who, and the Jahmiyyah on that matter, the Mu'tazila, those people of the Jahmiyyah, the ones who reject Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sifat. So of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sifat, they reject Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sifat. And the second group regarding the Mu'tazila, that they see things based upon human reasoning. They see things based upon human reasoning, according to them, that for them matters either something which is tangible, mahsus, something which is tangible. That's according to them, wal musha'id, something that can be seen. So that's how they look at things regarding even matters regarding al-ittiqad. So if it's not something that is tangible and something that cannot be witnessed, then they reject those things. So the Jahmiyyah, that they fall into three subgroups on this matter. Of amongst them, of those who say Quran makhluk, those who outright say the Quran makhluk. Second group amongst them are those who, and of the ulama who mentioned also that that qawl regarding Quran makhluk, qawl kufr. That of those of the ulama, as Ahmad rahimullah, also of those who take the position regarding that I've mentioned regarding that as mentioned by Al-Bayhaqi rahimullah and Abdullah ibn Ahmed. قال سمعت أبي Abdullah ibn Ahmed rahimullah قال سمعت أبي, that I heard my father saying, من قال لفظي بالقرآن مخلوق يريد به قرآن فهو كافر. So regarding concern Ahmed rahimullah, that took the position regarding of that statement regarding Quran Kalamullah, that that matter is an act of kufr. That a person will say so, then that person is a kafir. So as we mentioned, that the Jahmiyyah, they fall into three groups, subgroups of those who say Quran makhluk, it is created, and that's kufr. Second, of those who say Kalamullah wa taqif, those who say it is Kalamullah and they stop there. Where during that fitna, during that time of trial, confusion, then it was expected for clarity. Because of, so clarity was required beyond just saying Kalamullah. So, of those who, because of their intent, didn't want to be explicit, so they can somewhat say that and they stop there. Kalamullah, because they didn't want to openly clarify, make their position be known. Then of them who says Al-Fadhuna bil-Quran makhluqa, that you said a third amongst them of the subgroup they mentioned, Al-Fadhuna, that our words of the Quran, that which is created. Wa huwa indi fi maqal wahid. As for these groups, that they're whom or for whom indi, yani Ahmed, see them all as one. As mentioned, so Ahmed rahimahullah, when he told his son Abdullah, that Ahmed rahimahullah, as he told Ibn Hanbal this matter, as he told Ibn Hanbal regarding concerning that Jahmiyyah ala thalatha durub, that upon three different subgroups on this matter. So that's concerning the different groups. And I mentioned that asl of this matter regarding concerning that the person who's quiet, especially during that time when the fitna was, and it's was wide, that fitna was more intense then and more prevalent then it required clarity regarding this matter, regarding the Quran. So for a person to uphold the position as mentioned in the Quran and also in the Sunnah regarding Quran being Kalamullah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So that's the first of those masail that is discussed by Ahmed rahimahullah on this matter. So the first of those masail that are mentioned by Ahmed rahimahullah on this matter regarding Quran, Kalamullah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So as we had mentioned regarding concerning this matter, that Ahmed rahimahullah, of those and of the reason why he became known as Imam Ahl-Sunnah. So of the reason he was given this laqab, this title, Imam Ahl-Sunnah, based upon that Ahmed rahimahullah, that of those who are prominent among the ulama who did not give in regarding those who wanted to establish this view then, and those who are the Khalifa and those under him. So the Khalifa being influenced by others, where this became the state view, and the ulama of that time that they were, and the judges of that time that they were being tested. What's your position regarding the Quran? If you said what they wanted, then you get a pass. If you said, did not say what they wanted, then everything, your life changed. You had a great life change where the person was then removed from whatever position he had. He was imprisoned. Also, he would be punished on this matter. He would be punished for this matter. So the Prophet ﷺ also in the hadith, in the Al-Bukhari, in his book Adab al-Mufrad, the hadith of Jabir, where he mentioned in Quraysh, and he mentioned that in Qurayshan qad mana'uni, that the Quraysh, that they have blocked me, stopped me, and uballig kalam Rabbi, that Quraysh, that they have stopped me from communicating the speech of my Lord, which is, so it shows regarding that the Prophet ﷺ that referred to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala speech as kalam Rabbi, the speech of my Lord, which is al-wahi, revelation. So this is of those matters that prove the position of Ahl-Sunnah wal Jama'ah, that the Quran, kalamullah, minhu, from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, it began and revealed, came from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Aqiqatan, it is something which is real. Lafdan wa mana, both the words and the meaning is from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And what one hears is from Kalamullah, the speech of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And that's the position of As-Sunnah, and Al-Quran is not created. It's not created, but rather of the sifat of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So at that first point that is mentioned here, that Ahmed rahimullah clarifies regarding of those matters of importance regarding matters of Aqidah. So I mentioned of the early matters that people try to attack regarding matters to the Aqidah of Ahl-Sunnah, regarding Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala asma wa sifat, rejection regarding Kalamullah, rejecting Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's speech, and by this a form of rejecting regarding Quran, Kalamullah, which is rejecting of al-wahi, revelation, and by this then people are left to their own. People are left to their own way of thinking and thoughts, not have anything to guide them by way of revelation from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And the other matter that the people try to reject would be discussed regarding Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala being above, ulu Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the ulu of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala being above his creation. So these are those masail that are mentioned in this thesis by Ahmed bin Hanbal rahimahullah in clarifying certain points regarding the i'tiqad of Ahl-Sunnah wal Jama'ah that existed then, during that time in the days of the Salaf, and still continue ila Yawm al-Qiyamah. So that inshallah ta'ala will end this point and continue discussing other of the points mentioned in this book by Ahmed rahimahullah in clarifying the i'tiqad, some of the principles of Ahl-Sunnah wal Jama'ah in matters relating to al-i'tiqad. وبالله تعالى توفيق وهذا السبيل والآخر والحمد لله. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.